Hello, we're at the garden today, and I think by the way this feels that we're having our first taste of fall. For a gardener, this can be a little bit of a depressing time of the year because the harvest is quietly winding down. And we have here a few tomatoes and peppers yet on the vine, but the season of bounty has been given. I think that we need to be reminded, though, the bounty of fruit and vegetables has come into the end, that the garden itself remains very much alive. Soon it will be covered by leaves and snow, but be active in preparation for our coming season. Earthworms will be tilling the soil and aerating it, the microorganisms fixing nitrogen and the minerals that the following season will require for its bounty. I think as a conscious people, we are also between seasons. And I think the one that we are leaving behind is what I would like to refer to as childhood's end. Childhood's end in the sense that we need to leave our dependency upon the materials of this world, where so many of us have suffered, and the living earth itself has been deprived of so much of its celebratory life. It might be said for the human family that many of us have fallen into the material gutter and now are yoked to all this stuff. I would like to invite everybody, those who haven't found the garden, to become a gardener. And gardens are many and all around us. Here we have the garden in the natural soils of the earth. But there are also gardens in creation and creativity. Some find their gardens in relationships. Some find their gardens in the workshop. Some behind the easel and on the keyboard. So it matters not so much where we become a gardener, but the beautiful thing about gardening is that we're never alone. So much of what needs to be reconsidered and come to a closing end, the season past, in which we refer to as childhood's end, is the sense that we need be dependent and that we're extending our hand for morsels of what institutions have taken from the world around us. And as though we are not complete and good enough. But friends, we surely are. An awakening to the who of what we are and our longer view of life invites us to become gardeners. Sure, the gardener does tend the garden, but the gardener is never alone. In this reference right here in the garden, literal earth soils, there is so much help. Once the initiatives and the seed is set, the microorganisms, the earthworms, the soil fertility, the falling rains, and most of all the river of life pours in. Because in gardening, we have set forth an intention and invite ourselves to be woven into the fabric of the living world. This mysterious something that we are immersed in percolates for us in giving ways. We become, in effect, initiators in this wondrous expression of whatever we bring forth, whatever this bounty will be. It's so important, I believe, to understand that old ideas and outworn beliefs and relationships of dependency on something beyond us have allowed so many weeds to grow in our garden. And life needs not these weeds. As we had mentioned before, we need to separate the veils and the darkness by adding more life to it. And that happens, and it happens in beautiful rhythmic ways when we have decided that we are not dependent on anything. We will not allow these weeds to dust over our heart and soul and take the twinkle from the star that we are. Whenever we initiate our place in the world as a giving gardener, and again, the gardens are found both within and without us, what more amazing garden than the garden womb, who brings forth our children in that most co-creative aspect of our family of life. And speaking of children, friends, we need to somehow bring them back to the wonder and to the creativity which they seed so beautifully in a needing world. It seems for me that so many of them are wired up like machines, and we need to take some of those, or allow some of those wires to be removed, and provide for them again meaningful and perfectly bountiful moments in wonder and in the creativity and the imagination which defines their life as being so rich. So a caution here, even though as I speak to childhood's end as a culture, the contradiction is seemingly there, because in fact we need to become more like children, seeding our own wonder and our own joy in the world around us. I think it can be illustrated quite nicely. I have here in the garden basket 2 tomatoes. You know, one is a little bigger than the other, but this one is manufactured. This one is forced in growth by artificial fertilizers. The Miracle-Gro tomato, big, tasteless. This tomato is totally organically derived and grown on the vine, whose roots are set in natural soils, fed by mycorrhizae and organisms that belong in the world of the soil. It has grown more slowly, its stalk is smaller, and so is the fruit, but it is tasty and nutritious beyond compare. This is the difference of accepting our place as a gardener in life, that whatever our soul or heart yearns for, its bounty will be given us, if only we will come to know that that which we need to allow our own flower to bloom is alive and well in this mysterious something which we call life's river, or the mysterio in spirit that surrounds us. This tomato comes forth out of pretense. This tomato represents man's forcing what is already available in natural and sweet ways into the world. This tomato could never last. This tomato represents habits of taking and control that have now need to be let go, because we never needed to force our place in this world. And when we have stepped out beyond the fabric, we have sensed an aloneness that has equaled fear. And taken together, we have come to think that we are dependent on something beyond ourselves, something beyond this mysterious something that surrounds us, this very literal river of life. But the life in the river is all we needed, all we ever needed. So I hope that going forward, we will come to understand that the co-creative potential in us requires that we find gardens somehow in our lives. It's in that place where our vision and our intentions are allowed to take root in deep and rich soils, bringing forth a fruit that is not only beautiful, but is sweet and tasty and sustaining. I would like to remind many of you that the call has gone out. People are asking for your place to meet them in their place. For you have seeded your intentions in deep and giving soils, and you are bringing forth fruit, both sweet and kind, upon life's giving vine. This bounty now must be shared and given all around, for so many thirst for what you have found. And if we agree to live within the context of this world and within the fabric of life and take our place within it, we will not be pretentious, nor will we be using a ladder too tall, too high. And if we don't seek to climb above the rest, our ladder will not be too tall. And thus Humpty Dumpty shall never need fall. Nor will we all need all the king's horses and all the king's men to put us back together again. Remember, friends, in just a few days, the harvest of the fall, living within our bounty. Come, let us celebrate our connection. Let us celebrate in the season before us as we willfully let the season behind us slide into its own absurdity. Thank you, and we'll see you soon.